Part 40. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 391. After the rest of the staff, they followed the Qin city lord into the forbidden area. In the previous battle, under the indiscriminate impact of the armored thorn beasts, the layer of restrictions became more and more loose, so it had little effect on them. Even the fog used to confuse people's sight and perception became thinner. Stand up. The spiritual energy inside is indeed much richer than the outside, and it seems like the cultivation base is rising when you take a sip. Some cultivators can't wait to sit down and cultivate in meditation. A month of cultivation here may be comparable to that of a year outside. But when looking at the situation inside, both the monks and the trainers curse the two armored and thorn beasts. It can be seen that because of the strong spiritual energy inside, the growth of the spiritual grass has also become prosperous. However, this place has become after the old nest of the two giant beasts. Because of their huge size, they walked around here, leaving pit marks everywhere, and many of the pit marks still had half of the spirit grass left, which were ruined by the giant beasts. Qinzhenzu said, "You can search around by yourself to see if there is anything good that hasn't been ruined. If it really doesn't work, just circle this place first, and those who are willing to stay and practice are fine." "Thank you, City Lord." The teams did not give in, they quickly found a direction and dispersed. Guyao and the others did not walk away immediately, but flew into the air to first watch the terrain here, and it could be vaguely seen that this was a large valley. Guyao found a foggy place in the depths of the valley, and was about to suggest whether to go there and take a look, when Su Chen's voice sounded, "What are you still lingering on? Hurry up, there is a yin and yang spring here, go take a dip, it is very beneficial to your cultivation." Guyao frowned, "Is it the place I saw earlier?" "It should be, hurry up, don't be robbed by others, you have no share," Su Chen urged. "Okay, let's go here." Su Chen's voice was also heard in Qi Changjai, so he immediately threw out an aircraft, let everyone go up, and flew to that place. Chen Sheng also looked around, but either the open space was smashed by the two giant beasts, or it was covered with grass and trees. Good things, and also become excited. City Lord Qin is also rushing people to a place at this moment. They have lived for many years, and their various means will only be more than Qi Changjai and Guyao. If it is not for Guyao, there is a well-informed spirit like Su Chen by his side. The natives of the world followed, and it took a lot of time to find out. At that time, I wondered if they would be preempted by other teams. Chen Sheng controlled the aircraft, and Qi Changjai flew ahead with Guyao in a galloping speed, and crashed into the foggy place found by Guyao, but was stopped by the ban. There is no need for two people to explain this time. Chen Sheng and the others also know that they have found a good place, and where will they hide the means? Let's work together and find a way to break the restriction and enter as soon as possible. Guyao's Black Cat and Mou shot together, rushing ahead of the other monks to corrode a hole for people to enter and exit above the restriction. "Enter from here." Qi Changjai took Guyaoxian and plunged in first, and the others were not far behind. After everyone came in, Qi Changjai threw out the array to cover up the place, and the others thought about it and followed. Made some traps and ambush. Yin and Yang Ling Quan. Someone exclaimed, and the entrance was a spiritual spring. This spiritual spring was half cold and half hot, but it merged into a milky white spring in the middle. Seeing this yin and yang spiritual spring, everyone's eyes became hot. Chen Sheng's eyes also flashed with surprise, but he has seen many treasures because of his identity, so he calmed down faster than others, coughed lightly and reminded, "This spiritual spring is the first of Dao Qi and Gu alchemist. I found the one who brought us here, so I have to listen to their opinions on how to use it." The other cultivators also woke up, not to mention the strength of these two, that is the Wolf Slayer team, they must be on their side, and now they have the advantage, and they came here with a clear goal before. Is there really something? The means can measure the good stuff here? How much, Captain Luo, you are also together, it is also good for your body training, you can wash the tendons and cut the marrow. Of course Luo Xiao knew it was a good thing, and he nodded excitedly after hearing Qi Changjai's words, okay, we'll listen to you. Let's go. Qi Changjai took Gu Yao and jumped in first, occupying one of the corners. The others also jumped in like dumplings, tacit understanding not to compete with Qi Changjai and the others for that corner position, and they didn't have time to look around. Not even a drop should be wasted. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai did the same, and soon a vortex of spiritual energy formed around them, milky white spiritual energy scrambled to penetrate under their skin, infiltrated into the musculoskeletal blood, and soon fell into a state of floating. Black Cat and Mou also floated around them, alerting them while absorbing the essence of yin-yang spirit spring. A satisfied look flashed in Su Chen's eyes in the space. He didn't expect such a good thing to be hidden in such a remote place. He could guess that in addition to this yin and yang spirit spring, there were other good things that were not worse than this, otherwise that how could City Lord Qin and Alchemist Ye let this go? On the other side, Qin Chenzu and Alchemist Ye also found a hidden cave with the help of a kind of spiritual insect. There is also a spiritual spring in the cave, and the quality is no less than the yin and yang spiritual spring discovered by Gu Yao and the others. Their movements did not escape City Lord Qin's divine sense. Seeing them entering the place where they were restricted, they raised their eyebrows. Sure enough, they were lucky. Time passed quickly in the practice, and 2 years passed in a blink of an eye. Suddenly there was a rumbling sound from the sky, and the terrifying might of the heavens and the earth pressed down, awakening all those who were cultivating, and they came out to check, exclaiming, "Who is this who is going to cross the robbery?" I saw a cyan figure jumping out from below, standing in mid-air and looking at the cloud of calamity that was constantly gathering above. Now everyone knew that it was Alchemist Ye who was under the calamity. Once the robbery is over, there will be a second void refinement cultivator in Biya city. Ye Danchi bowed his hands to the City Lord Qin who also came out. Next, I have to trouble City Lord Qin to help me protect the Dharma. I will go outside to escape the calamity, and there is no need to destroy this place. Okay, you can rest assured to cross the robbery. Qin City Lord agreed. The cyan figure quickly swept out, and the Jayun above also moved with it. No matter where the Jamin ran, Jayun would always stare at him. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai, who also came out of the temporary cave, followed like the others, but they did not expect that they would encounter a virtual calamity when they exited from the practice. They have not left here for the past 2 years. The yin-yang Lingquan has been absorbed by them long ago, but the spiritual conditions here are excellent, so they did not leave after absorbing the yin-yang Lingquan, but found a place to settle in this valley. When they came down, they either retreated to practice, or searched for the spiritual grass growing in the valley. On the edge of the yin-yang Lingquan before, Gu Yao discovered some rare spiritual grasses outside. In 2 years, Qi Changjai has been promoted to the middle stage of God transformation, and Gu Yao has also steadily moved towards the middle stage of God transformation. Although there is no breakthrough, his conscious strength has more than doubled compared to 2 years ago. A year ago, Luo Xiao went back with some of the family members. Although he had connections with the city, his heart was unstable if he didn't go back for a long time. People, leave it to them and the double-star firm to take care of. Although the exchanges between the two sides have resumed, the only people who can enter here are the people who originally came out with the Qin City Lord. Although there are very few reports of the situation inside, the forces and monks who are watching in the city regret not a few. I also know that if people can stay there for 2 years and do not want to come back, the cultivation environment must be much better than the city. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai rushed to the place where the robbery was crossed, and Alchemist Ye, who was under the robbery cloud, was waiting in full force to welcome the first wave of thunder calamity. Chen Sheng also rushed to their side, looking enviously at the cyan figure below the robbery cloud. Alchemy Ye really missed the last step, so he was able to break through the tribulation so quickly, and alchemy will soon become a cultivator. Already. Unlike other places, it is relatively easy to become a spiritual monk in the spiritual world. As long as you don't slack off your practice, your resources can't go any further. Although Chen Sheng didn't feel that he was a spirit transformation all his life, he still envied Alchemist Ye at the moment, and turned to look at Qi Changjai again. Fellow Daoist Qi is also in the middle stage of spirit transformation. This talent has only been in the spiritual world for more than 3 years. He has broken through and advanced so quickly, and maybe he will be able to practice virtual in front of him in the future. Gu Yao said with a smile, fellow Daoist Chen is not bad. These 2 years are equivalent to the usual decades of cultivation. Chen Sheng smiled, who would have thought that when he came to be a city, he could still get such a good fortune. If those guys knew about it, I wonder if they would regret putting him here. Alchemist Ye has been preparing to refine the heavenly tribulation over the years, so at the moment he is not panicking in the face of the thunder tribulation. Hearing others sighing alchemy yes wealth in an envious tone, Gu Yao couldn't help but feel happy. Cultivator, it is indeed extraordinary. Lei Ji seemed to be about to smash the heavens into a hole, but fortunately, Alchemist Ye passed by without any risk. Over the years, Alchemist Ye stayed in the city lord's mansion in Biya City, and he has formed a good friendship with him. Now that he sees his friend who has become an imaginary cultivator like him, he has made further progress in his practice. How could he not replace him? He is happy. There are also regrets in the joy, because it means that the separation is getting closer and closer. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 392. After Master Ye finished the calamity, Gu Yao and the others returned to Biya City with the double-star business. Although the place they stayed in the past 2 years was rich in spiritual energy, they couldn't prepare so many people to enter and practice together. In addition, because the restrictions were loosened and leaked out in the past few years, the superior conditions for spiritual energy were not so obvious. However, if they are confined and raised for a while, they may be able to recover, including the yin and yang spiritual springs that have been sucked up by them, and maybe they will be able to accumulate a pool of spring water again. When I went back to take the aircraft, Gu Yao couldn't help but sigh. When I came out, I didn't expect to stay for 2 years. I don't know what happened to our shop. Although they were entrusted to the Wolf Slayer and the Double Star business, but the 2 owners slapped there and left. There are no special items, and the shop is not easy to maintain. Cai Sheng has only paid it back. We'll listen to the Zhong family father and son. After coming out of the Yin-Yang Lingquan, he also cultivated spiritual essence Gu while he was practicing, but the number was limited, and it was estimated that the orders he received before could not be fulfilled. It's all right, Qi Changjai said casually, there will always be time to hand it over, don't you have to worry about them at that time. From Qi Changjai's point of view, with the Wolf Slayer team and the Double Star Company covering them, the Zhong family's father and son guarding the store would not be too bad. In the blink of an eye, they entered Biya City, and the 2 separated from Chen Sheng and agreed on a time to meet another day. Chen Sheng had another courtyard in the southern district, and he very warmly invited the 2 to check in. The market in the North District is still bustling and bustling. Turning into one of the alleys, there is no scene of the deserted courtyard in Gu Yao's imagination, and people come and go from time to time. Before the 2 of them entered the shop, they heard someone say, "Old Zhong, when will your boss come back? We are still waiting for the spirit essence Gu." Father Zhong's voice then sounded, "The monk has a short time to retreat and practice. This time it was an accident, but he should be back soon. I heard that Alchemist Ye of the City Lord's mansion has survived the void refinement tribulation, isn't it?" "I've heard it too. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it. I can hear it when I go out of the city recently, and there is indeed a catastrophe in the direction outside the city." Father Jean was chatting with the regular customers in the shop, when he saw two handsome young men with long and jade-like bodies walking in, suddenly showing a look of surprise, and hurriedly walked in from inside. "Second seniors, you are finally back." The customers in the store looked back and saw that they were the two owners of Guk's store. They were strangely handsome, and they were different from the 5'3" thick people. They also greeted respectfully. After all, these two people are not weak. Listen. It is said that now he also has face in the city lord's mansion, and the few forces who have not seen the shop idea in the past are now living with their heads shrunk, and I don't know how to regret it in my heart. Don't worry about Ling Yu and Gu, it will be supplied soon. Gu Yao smiled. Hey, okay, I'm not in a hurry. Father Jean temporarily closed the shop, and went to the best restaurant in front to book a table in person. He must have had bad food and drink in the past 2 years, and now he must make up for it when he comes back. When Gu Yao and Qi Changjai first left, he was really worried that those forces would take advantage of the owner's absence to make trouble. Going to Panshiman, he went to start with Cai Sheng and learn forging by the way. At first, those people did come looking for trouble, and some people even said that the two owners might not be able to come back once they left. He still remembered what happened that day, when a member of a hunting team rushed in aggressively, saying that the medicinal pills sold in their shop were fake, and they had eaten their lives. Sun's father was still pretending to say consolation words behind him, but in fact he added fuel to the fire. The other party had already smashed most of the pill bottles on the display shelf. He and his son went up to stop them, but they were also beaten out, and the installed prosthesis fell. He was trampled on the side. The name of the team and the store has also been rectified. Those who are looking for trouble are clearly using the medicinal pills from outside to confuse them. Whoever dares to trouble the Guk's store in the future will be unable to get along with the double star business. The people who came at that time were all monks, and the well-informed people immediately found out all kinds of information about the double star business, which caused an uproar in the northern district. Who would have thought that Gu Yao and Qi Changjai would follow the city out of the city, and they would be able to connect the shop with the double star business? Father Jean was also worried at first, for fear that the double star trading company and those forces had the same idea. They were all eyeing the spirit essence Gu in the shop, but they couldn't offend the other party. At first, they were cautious, and after a while, they discovered the other party. It was really covering Guk's shop, and when more and more news came back, especially after that Du Donji and Matthew were expelled from the city lord's mansion, Father Jean felt that he could raise his eyebrows. When the Wolf Slayer team returned to the city, Father Jean's heart completely fell back into his stomach. Now the two owners have signed up in front of the city owner and alchemist Ye, and Guk's shop has also gained confidence. Second seniors, because of your absence, there is a lack of supply in the store, so I will make my own decision and buy it from the Double Star firm and sell it in the store. The Double Star firm's reputation has always been good, so the sales of the elixir and magic array discs in the shop are still on sale. Not bad. Two seniors, this is the account book for the past 2 years. Father Jean kept the accounts clearly, what goods were bought, the price at which they were bought, how much was sold, and at what price the transaction was made. Except for the wages received and the spirit stones that maintained the operation of the formation, all the rest were handed over to him. After Gu Yao and Qi Changjai, even after Zhong Chen went to Panshiman, he no longer received wages in the shop, so the life of the Zhong family, father and son, is still maintained at a relatively difficult level. Gu Yao swept his consciousness and knew that there was no problem with the accounts and the spirit stone at all, and sighed with a smile. I didn't estimate that it would stay there for so long, otherwise I should have told you earlier that I will process money for you after a while. Well, this half is for rewarding you. Sure enough, it was just as Gu Yao thought, except for the Zhong family and his son, Cai Sheng was the only one who was hired in the shop. When others were making trouble, all the others left. Cai Sheng only knew that he was working hard all day, but he suffered. Minimal impact. This. Father Zhong's hands were shaking. It was too much, I didn't expect it at all. He didn't feel that he had done anything. If the two seniors hadn't provided him with such an opportunity, he and his son would still be in an unknown situation. The two of you are divided equally. Chi Changjai said one thing, and Father Zhong put it away silently, knowing that Chi Changjai's words meant that he could no longer object. Senior, those people have been wanting to come back. Father Zhong was talking about the alchemist and talisman who left at the beginning. When they learned that the store was covered by the double star business, they asked to come back. It was too simple, and the owner was not there. Those people were bossing their father and son, so they didn't let go, but they said several times that he would regret it in the future. Gu Yao didn't care and said, "Let's go, and what are you going to do when you come back?" "I think it's pretty good now, and I'll continue to buy from Shuangxing business in the future. Although the profit is a little less, it is more expensive in the long run." Thinking about it this way, Gu Yao feels that he can also transfer the cultivation method of Ling Yuan Gu to the Double Star Commercial Bank, and the sales of this piece in the northern district will be handed over to the Gu Chi shop. These two, after getting along for several years, he has a good impression of Chen Sheng. After Father Zhong left, Gu Yao discussed with Chi Changjai, and the latter did not object. When he would come up with the spirit essence Gu, he didn't want to treat it as an exclusive secret, and Gu Yao alone could cultivate the spirit essence Gu. The number is too limited. When they leave, the Zhong family and their sons will never be able to keep this method. Instead, it will bring harm. If it is handed over to the double star firm, there is no such concern. Father Zhong went out of the shop and went to Cai Sheng first. Although Cai Sheng confiscated him as an apprentice, he did not give up what he should teach. I heard that it was rewarded by the returning owner, so I accepted it without saying anything. "Master Cai, you are busy, I will go to Panshimen to see Xiao Chen." Father Zhong had a smile on his brows and eyes, but his son didn't say anything. He also knew that his son was short of spirit stone envoys. Now that he has the spirit stone, it should be enough for his son to spend a lot of time, and the employer has given him a salary increase. Will be much more spacious. Go early and return early. Cai Sheng waved his hand, but before Father Zhong left, he was busy again. This sect doesn't have much portal view, and it will be considered to be sent here after repeated selection. "Father, why are you here?" Zhong Chen wondered that father didn't guard the shop during the day, and came here to visit him. Could something have happened? The two seniors are back. Today is a day off. Dad is here to give you something. The seniors will reward you. Dad and me. He used spirit stones to buy medicinal pills for body refining from his shop, and stuffed them all. For my son, this age is a critical moment. Once the foundation is laid, there will be a much greater chance of rising in the future. Really, when Zhong Chen heard the news, he jumped up with excitement. "Great, I can rest in 2 days, I'm going back." "Okay, let's go back," Father Zhong replied with a smile. The two seniors were their father and son's benefactors. He knew that the strength of their father and son could not repay the seniors. That's why he was so annoyed at those cultivators who left after an accident and wanted to come back. Don't think he couldn't see it. Those cultivators wanted to use Guk's shop as a springboard to get a chance to enter the double star business. 2 days later, Gu Yao and Chi Changjai met the young Zhong Chen. They had grown a lot in the past 2 years, and they were even more diligent in their cultivation. They were about to break through to the strength of nascent soul. There is really nothing for the two to worry about in the store. They let Father Zhong run the business according to the current model, and then padded there and went to double star business. Now that they are back, there are still forces in the northern district who dare to compete with them. The scale of the double star business is indeed much larger. They are in a bustling street full of people. When the two were hanging out in the business, Chen Sheng received news and rushed down from the upstairs, asking the two to go up and talk. He has been away for 2 years, so he has been very busy in the past few days. Unlike Guka's shop, the accounts can be seen clearly at a glance. The business in his firm is much more complicated, and he has to prevent others from doing things. Gu Yao first thanked Chen Sheng for letting Shuangxing firm take care of Guka's shop, otherwise such a firm would have seen such a small-scale shop. Needless to say, it was ordered by Chen Sheng. Next, Gu Yao pushed a piece of jade slip. Chen Xiao, look at what's inside. What is it? Chen Sheng curiously probed into his divine sense and looked at it. He was amazed by this look, and his divine sense quickly withdrew. Although he only read the beginning, he knew what was recorded in it. The method of promotion is very detailed. You guys are. Gu Yao said with a smile, presumably Chen Xiao won't stay here for a long time, so do we, so this thing must be handed over. After thinking about it, only Chen Xiao can make us feel at ease, that is, in the future, we will have to take care of our room. Small shop. Chen Sheng thought for a while, but nodded and agreed, promising, okay. Since the two fellow deists trust me, I will not let it down. In addition, I will discuss with the top management of the firm to sell this jade at a suitable price. Jane bought it. Gu Yao didn't reject it either. Maybe such a deal would make the other party feel more at ease. Ling Shi came to the door, so there's no reason to reject it, so he replied with a smile, okay. Chen Sheng wanted to contact the head office. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai said goodbye, and went to the pill hall in the city lord's mansion to have a look. There was also the spirit essence Gu cultivated for alchemist Ye, and he needed to give it to him when he returned. When they arrived at the city lord's mansion, as soon as Gu Yao showed his identity, the guard invited them in and pointed out the direction of pill hall. I hadn't contacted it before, but when I came back this time, I found that the alchemy hall was a very open place, and it did not refuse the entry of foreign alchemists. After walking around, Gu Yao regretted not coming to see it earlier. It can be said that the best spirit herbs in the city are gathered here, and they can be purchased at a discounted price by virtue of their status as alchemists. There are also many young monks who come here to be children of the alchemists. Take a fancy to accept as a disciple. Gu Yao's arrival also attracted the attention of other alchemists. You must know that Du Donji's expulsion is related to this person. Although some people despise Du, because of his identity as a registered disciple of Donji Ye. To bully others, but to get the surname Du down, must not be a simple role. Gu Yao didn't care about their strange eyes. He wouldn't stay here for too long. He came here to increase the chance to get in touch with the local alchemists and learn more about the alchemy techniques of the local alchemists. Some people see Gu Yao as a competitor. Ye Donji becomes a virtual cultivator, and his alchemy will go further. If he can become him. After returning to take performance, now this guy who has been in contact with Ye Donji is not their competitor. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 393. Those who regard Gu Yao as a competitor have never thought about whether Ye Donji will continue to stay in Biya city after consolidating his cultivation base. But before they could take any action, Chen Sheng came, a little excited. Fellow deist Qi, the ancient alchemist, the matter of the spirit essence Gu has been settled before the negotiation. He didn't dare to make any promises to Gu Yao, because he was afraid that he would not be able to do it. This time there is no problem. There are two ways. One is to participate in the share, and the other is to buy and sell in one go. In the long run, of course, it is more cost-effective to participate in the share, and you can get on the not-so-small ship of the double-star business, but Gu Yao didn't even listen to how the share was divided, and said directly, just buy and sell with one hammer, it's easy. Save effort. Chen Shen narrowed his eyes with a smile. When he was fighting for Guyao in front of the high-level officials, he felt that according to the temperament of Guyao and Qi Changjai, the possibility of choosing to be divided was extremely small. The two are reluctant to do too much work and are afraid of trouble, so they will definitely choose this more direct and labor-saving method. So Chen Shen reported the number of spirit stones, 100,000 top-grade spirit stones. Guyao had no intention of bargaining at all, but hoped that half of the spirit stones could be exchanged for materials from the double star business. How could Chen Shen disagree? Actually, I will leave Biya City in a year and report to the head office. If Alchemist Gu can wait, he might as well wait until a year later to leave with me. The materials at the head office are more complete, and some things cannot be dispatched. Come here. Chen Shen also knew that Guyao and the others wanted to leave Biya City, so he suggested this, and it was very difficult for the branch here to allocate such a large amount of spirit stones. Besides, when I leave Biya in a year, I will feel safer with Guyao and Qi Changjai on the road together. Guyao and Qi Changjai glanced at each other, and both felt that Chen Shen's proposal was a good one, but Qi Changjai added, then provide us with a map of the spiritual world as comprehensive as possible. Okay, no problem, wrap it on me. Chen Shen grinned. If you want to rest, just come to my yard to save you wasting time on the way. It does take a lot of time to go back to the North District from here. This time, the two did not push back and agreed. Anyway, they will go on the road together in a year, so as to increase their understanding. Chen Sheng said with satisfaction, okay, I'll take you to recognize the door first. Except for the number of spirit stones, the conversation of the three did not avoid the eyes and ears of others. When Guyao Qi Changjai left with Chen Sheng, they came out from behind and looked at each other. Is this ancient alchemist really going to leave Arbiya City in a year? Some people were sour. I didn't hear that young Master Chen of the Double Star firm was trying to win over them. Maybe he climbed up to the Double Star firm and couldn't look down on Arbiya Chen. People are going to a higher place, which is different from us. They know more about Zhuangxin commercial firm. Even though it is only a commercial firm, its strength is stronger than that of the City Lord's mansion in Biya City. Do they need to choose whether to join the City Lord's mansion or Double Star commercial firm? Anyone who changed it would leave with the Double Star firm. They have been self-indulgent for most of the day. I don't know if they have a chance, as if someone heard such a voice and said, I heard that in the battle 2 years ago, Master Gu and his Taoist companion saved Master Chen's life, so Master Chen treats them differently. But a year is about the same time as Guyao and the others expected to leave. In this way, the Gucci store does not need to intervene, so more authority is given to Father Zhong to let him run the business. The two stayed in the southern district for most of the time, but they often acted separately. Qi Changjai found that there were monks in the city challenging the arena, and they would go up to practice too, or go out of the city to find the wild beasts in the middle and late stages of the transformation of the gods to practice their hands. Guyao only occasionally I can practice 2 hands, and most of the time I stay in the dantang. Gradually, Qi Changjai's reputation as a thunder sword cultivator became more and more famous. There were many teams going out to hunt, and people often saw him fighting with wild beasts. In the end, Qi Changjai killed the wild beasts, including those in the late stage of god transformation. The wild beasts are all planted under his sword, which makes many teams eager to move, trying to draw him into their own team. With such a sword cultivator with amazing combat power joining in, the strength of the hunting team will increase rapidly. Even if they met the wolf slayer on the way, they would only stop for a while, or they would help the wolf slayer when they were in danger, and then they disappeared, and then news came out that they challenged which wild beast. Each team had to dispel the original idea, this sword cultivator really couldn't be recruited by a maverick. This time, I went out of the city with the Taoist companions. When I came back, I met the Wolf Slayer team and walked together. The members of the Wolf Slayer team who had seen Qi Changjai's combat effectiveness with their own eyes, Now look at Chi Chang'ai with awe and admiration in their eyes. These body refiners yearn for the strong. The overall strength of the Wolf Slayer team has also improved a lot because of the last time they soaked in the Yin-Yang Spirit Spring, and their status in Biya City has also risen. The group chatted and laughed and entered the city. Now the Wolf Slayer has reached an agreement with the Double Star firm to give priority to serving the Double Star firm. When they learned that Gu Yao and the others would be leaving in half a year, hesitation flashed in Luo Xiao's eyes. Young Master Chen wants me to leave with him, but I've been unsure. Idea. So I wanted to ask Gu Yao and Chi Chang'ai what they thought. In fact, he also knew in his heart that only by going out would he have a wider space for development. The opportunity 2 years ago had loosened the bottle diameter of his cultivation, and he felt that after 2 years in the next year, he will be able to break through and have the power to transform into a god. Even if he leaves the Double Star business in the future, the Wolf Slayer team will still have a place in Biya City. However, he is also full of yearning for the outside world, but he is worried that there is still limited development space for body refiners like them to go out. Gu Yao suggested, since you can't decide, it's better to go out for a few years. If you feel that the outside is not good, you can come back. Presumably there are teams from the head office of Double Star Commercial Bank who come to Biya City from time to time. Luo Xiao's eyes gradually became firmer. Yes, instead of worrying about this and that, it's better to go out and take a look. If the situation outside can't be opened, then come back and come back. It's impossible for the brothers not to give him a position. Stay. After I figured it out, my expression became much more relaxed. Yes, Alchemist Gu is right, the worst result of going out is to come back here and start again. It's the same as now. Thank you Alchemist Gu for giving me guidance. Gu Yao smiled and said, then we can go the same way again. Yes, Luo Xiaolang laughed out loud. In the remaining half a year, he had to make arrangements for the Wolf Slayer team before he could leave with confidence. After entering the city, I went straight to the Double Star Trading Company. The wild beasts and other harvests that Chi Chang'ai hunted outside would be handed over to the Double Star Trading firm for processing, which would save trouble. Not to mention, this trip has also accumulated a lot of net worth. Just happened to meet Chen Sheng, and brought news to the two that Alchemist Ye left the customs 2 days ago. Alchemist Ye's mansion was in the city lord's mansion, occupying a large yard. As soon as Gu Yao went out to see him, he was brought in. Alchemist Ye smiled when he saw the two who came in. I was just looking for you, so you came. How's my spirit essence Gu? Gu Yao thought that Alchemist Ye would not be able to use the spirit Yuan Gu. After all, it is very difficult to cultivate the spirit Yuan Gu at the refining level, and the god transformation level is not very useful to him. Gu Yao has cultivated it a long time ago, but first explain the situation truthfully, and then take out the spirit essence Gu and the method to cultivate and advance. Alchemist Ye was surprised. Didn't you sell this training method to Double Star firm? Gu Yao smiled and said, Alchemy Ye would like this business. Alchemy Ye can save a lot of time and effort by refining a few pills than cultivating this. Alchemist Ye smiled and shook his head, but he didn't push back anymore. He took the jade slip and looked at it. Indeed, it takes time and money to cultivate a good-looking spirit essence Gu. If it's for money, it's not as much work. Refining a few pills, this thing can only bring greater profits if it falls into the hands of a commercial firm to cultivate and sell it on a large scale. Looking at the chubby spirit essence Gu who had reached the initial stage of god transformation, Alchemist Ye said, I don't want your things for nothing. What do you want to exchange? Spirit stones. Pills. In the past 2 days after Alchemist Ye left the customs, he thought of Gu Yao's situation and went to Dantang to learn about it. For some reason, he felt that Gu Yao's performance in Dantang was a little mediocre, not in line with his speculation, or just at the theoretical level. It's relatively high, but it's a little bit worse in practice. Gu Yao did not lack these two things. He thought about it and said, how much does Alchemist Ye know about the situation in the alchemy world outside? This is one of our goals, and the other reason is Su Chen. They don't know Su Chen. After disappearing for so many years, is there any news about him in the spiritual world now? Have those who chased and killed him still gave up? After coming to the spiritual world, Su Chen said less and less, and he didn't mention a word about his enemies, probably because he disliked them for being too weak, and knowing those things was useless, it would only increase pressure on himself. But Gu Yao still wants to know more. His current achievements and cultivation are inseparable from Pill Pavilion. Pill Pavilion is because of Senior Su Chen. Besides, although he has not confirmed his identity, Gu Yao's heart has long been treating Su Chen as his own master and elder. Su Chen almost ended up in a state of disintegration, how could he just ignore it? Just this request, Alchemist Ye looked at the two of them curiously, but Chi Changjai also did not object. Yes, that's it. Gu Yao nodded affirmatively. Alchemist Ye laughed and said, I do know some things. If you want to know more, I'll tell you. I have limited knowledge of the specific situation in the barren state, and I also learned about it from the city master Qin and other channels after I came to Biya city. Is it strange? I'm not from the barren state, I occasionally wander here, and I think Biya Cheng and Qin Chenzu are good people, so I stay. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 394. Alchemist Ye said that in the entire barren state, there is not a rank 1 alchemist. From this, it can be seen that the overall level of alchemy in the barren state is not ranked in the spiritual world. There are only 2 second-rank alchemists in the barren state. One is in Biwangjinj, the largest city in the barren state. The alchemist established Giwen Pavilion in Biwangjinj, which attracted countless alchemists from the barren state. The teacher is the alchemist elder of the Tianyang sect, and the Tianyang sect is also the largest sect force in the barren state. Although there are 2 second-rank alchemists, in the entire spiritual world, neither of these 2 alchemists in the barren state has much say. After all, second-rank alchemists are also divided into high and low. It is also something that many alchemists cannot achieve in their lifetime. Yet alchemist meant that those who did not reach the level of a second-rank alchemist were not qualified to look down on them, and only a first-rank alchemist could do such a thing. If you want to say that where in the entire spiritual world has the most alchemy techniques, and attracts alchemists from other states to want to join, then it belongs to the Lingzhou. Lingzhou is also known as the Danzhou, where the best first-rank alchemists sit, and not only one, there are also the most talented alchemists. Not only that, but there are also the most abundant spiritual grass resources there, and there are countless spiritual planters who cultivate spiritual grass there. There are several first-grade alchemists who flew to the immortal realm from there. These alchemists all belong to the Alchemy Pavilion. The Alchemy Pavilion was originally called the Holy Land of Alchemy Masters in Lingzhou, but then I don't know what happened. It has gone downhill. Now, among the several first-grade alchemists in Lingzhou, only one belongs to the Pill Pavilion, but I heard that this person has no hope of ascending, and his lifespan is limited. Now the Pill Pavilion relies on him to support him alone. If it is exhausted, maybe the Pill Pavilion will fall, and it is unknown whether there will be a Pill Pavilion in Lingzhou in the future. Alchemist Ye said with a smile, if you have the opportunity in the future, you should go to Lingzhou to take a look, but you must be mentally prepared. There are countless geniuses of alchemists in Lingzhou. There is no advantage to the disadvantage, but as an alchemist, if you don't go to Lingzhou to worship the former Holy Land, I'm afraid you will have regrets in your heart. I've heard these things too. If you want to know what's going on there, you have to go there yourself. Gu Yao stopped the turbulent waves in his heart, nodded and said, I really don't go there for a walk. If you take a look, you will feel that you are an alchemist. Yeah, alchemist has to leave, maybe we can meet in Lingzhou in the future. Yes, I also hope to see you in Lingzhou in the future. Guyao said goodbye to Alchemist Ye in a complicated mood, left with Qi Changjai, and returned to Chen Sheng's courtyard. Senior. As soon as Guyao returned to the other courtyard, he began to call Su Chen. After calling for a while, Su Chen's impatient voice sounded. What are you doing, a soul? Guyao asked, Senior, did you hear what Alchemist Ye said just now? Senior is from Lingzhou in the spiritual world. Does the pill pavilion in Lingzhou have anything to do with the senior? Su Chen was annoyed. Why do you just ask about these things if you don't practice all day? Are you waiting to be slaughtered? Before you go to find someone else. Others skin you and cramp first, and exercise your soul. Guyao was shocked by Su Chen's description, and Guyao was frightened. Su Chen turned around and entered the pill pavilion with satisfaction. In his opinion, it was too early for Guyao to worry about those things. Without that strength, I can't even touch the edge. Although I thought it was too bad luck to live in the barren state, now I think it's a good thing. The more the edge is, the less noticeable it is. Guyao Kong sniffed and frowned at Qi Changjai. Qi Changjai rubbed his head, and said, I think Senior is right, take your time, worry about our cultivation first, the spiritual world will have great benefits. Before coming to the spirit world, he asked Su Chen alone, if the pill pavilion returned to the spirit world with Guyao, would Su Chen's enemies have a way to detect the existence of the spirit pavilion? Su Chen reassured him, if the pill pavilion would be able to detect the existence of the spirit pavilion, it is still possible to not recognize the master, but now that the master is parasitic in Guyao's sea of consciousness, unless Guyao himself let go of the sea of consciousness and let the breath of the pill pavilion leak out, this is not possible. Qi Changjai can rest assured, otherwise he will face a group of masters as soon as he arrives in the spiritual world. Qi Changjai doesn't think he and Guyao have a way to escape, and no matter how confident he is, he doesn't think he can fight masters with different strengths. The two brothers, both of them have no wealth and are willing to go out with Luo Xiao to go out and see the world. Before leaving, Guyao handed over the Guqi shop and the backyard to Father Zhong. Father Zhong insisted that he guarded the shop for the two seniors, waiting for the seniors to come back someday. Guyao once thought about it, tested Father Zhong's character, and then decided whether to give him the limb extension pill, but when he left, he felt that it was unnecessary. He could buy the supplemental limb pill with his own income. He still remembered that Zhong Chen said that he would definitely buy the best sustained limb pill for his daddy in the future. Presumably, Zhong Chen will continue to strive for this goal in the future. In the North District of Biya City, the Zhong family and their sons, who are envied by many people, look at the direction of the aircraft with tears in their eyes. The two seniors are their benefactors and reborn parents. Without the seniors, they would not have everything they are today. In the future, you have to practice well. Body trainers are not so useless. Body trainers can also reach the highest level of the spiritual world. Father, I will definitely. I will go out to find seniors. Guyao and Qi Changjai were accustomed to the splits and closes on the way to practice, so they didn't feel any discomfort after leaving Biya City. On the way, they practiced or chatted with Chen Sheng Loxiao and the others, and sometimes they left the aircraft to go hunting. Since that time, Ling Wu showed great power in dealing with the armored and thorn beasts, and after returning to Biya City, especially after entering and leaving the Dantang of the city lord's mansion, the two found the best blacksmith and used the best spiritual materials they could find to forge a magic weapon. A crossbow, and in the forging process, the difference between monks and body refiners was fully considered, making this crossbow more convenient for monks to use. This treasured crossbow, Chen Sheng, also liked it very much. It was led by Luo Xiao. He also equipped his accompanying guards with bows and crossbows. Before departure, they cooperated with each other. Phew! Their aircraft encountered an interception on the way, but after the interception team was wiped out twice, there was no third interception. the killing order was issued by Chen Sheng himself. This side of Chen Sheng was something Gu Yao and Luo Xiao had never seen before. It seemed that he had become different after leaving Biya City. When he was in Biya City, Chen Sheng was a young cultivator who was a little arrogant but also gentle. The farther he was from Biya City, the stronger his arrogance. Qi Changjai said, "I am afraid that the two-star business is not peaceful. If Chen Sheng's position in the business is not low, he should not be sent to Biya Cheng." The third wave of robbery did not come again. When it was about to reach the destination, Chen Sheng told the truth in the chat with Gu Yao and the others. Double-star business was first established by the Chen family and the Zhu family, so it took the name of double-star, and later absorbed other family forces in the development, and the scale of development is getting bigger and bigger. Times. It's just that the scale has expanded, and there are more and more conflicts. My father is from the Chen family, and my mother is from the Zhu family. Since I was born, the two families have placed high hopes on me, but when I have not grown up, my parents died unexpectedly during a mission, and my collateral uncle took over the position left by my father, saying that he was taking care of the property left by my father for me. I wish I was also killed in the mission, and he can take over everything left by the Chen family in an open and honest way. 10 years ago, my uncle's daughter, who is also my cousin, looked at each other with the young children of another family in the business. After the marriage between the two parties, my Chen family became more and more annoying, so they grabbed me for a wrong general. I was sent to Biya Cheng, and if I can't make the grades, I'll probably use this as an excuse to keep me there forever. This time, they took the initiative to ask me to go back. I deliberately asked people to reveal the forbidden area, and the cultivation method of spirit essence Gu may have made them aware of some dangers, and they felt that it would be bad to let me outside. It is better to watch it under your nose, and you will be able to find an opportunity to start. In other words, not only did Chen Sheng's cultivation not delay in the past 10 years, but he also got great benefits, so that people who were afraid of his identity could not hold back. However, the action on the way also failed, and the entire army was wiped out twice. Make the people behind you hurt. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai were not surprised to hear that there would be no conflict without conflict of interest, and it was the same everywhere. Seeing that they didn't show angry expressions, Chen Sheng was secretly relieved, worried that the other party would feel that he took advantage of them. Qi Changjai said, "When you go out for a walk, it is impossible not to be in danger. Before you came out, you knew that the two-star caravan carrying a large amount of goods and spirit stones would not be able to travel peacefully. There is no shortage of murders, even if Gu Yao and I are involved." Separate line. When deciding to go with Chen Sheng, these things will not be ignored. After weighing it, they still feel that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, so they will go with them. Direction. "Thank you too," Chen Sheng said gratefully. Gu Yao asked, "So there are people in the double-star firm who are on your side and support you?" Chen Sheng nodded, "Yes, my aunt was sent to Giwan Pavilion a long time ago. You have heard of Giwan Pavilion?" Gu Yao raised his eyebrows. Giwan Pavilion was not exactly the two people mentioned by alchemist yet. Created by one of the second-grade alchemists. Seeing Gu Yao's expression, Chen Sheng knew what he had heard of, and Chen Sheng couldn't help but rejoice. "The pavilion master of Giwan Pavilion is a second-grade alchemist. I received news not long ago that my aunt has entered the cabinet. I have been in the outer cabinet before, and will be taken by others at any time. Now, entering the cabinet is different. It is equivalent to the sex brother-in-law and core disciple, and my uncle dare not do anything. Before, it was just a little trick, otherwise my aunt caught the evidence. Their clansmen would never want to stay in the double-star business, so they only dared to let me have an accident." Gu Yao smiled and said, "Congratulations, this time back, the identity is very different." Chen Sheng's eyes flickered. "My aunt can only save it for a while. If I am not strong enough, I will still be replaced just like his parents used to be his most reliable backing, but one day his parents will have an accident and leave him. How could he guarantee that his aunt's asylum would last for a long time? Just like last time, it wasn't that I almost died under the claws of a vampire bat. It didn't take long for a magnificent city wall to enter their field of vision, that is the third-rate city Feichuan City. From the outside, it felt more majestic than Biya City. Chen Sheng was born in the city, so he felt cordial to come back here again. He found Gu Yao and Qi Changjai and asked, "Are you going to come back to my house with me, or will I arrange another place for you?" Qi Changjai said, "Get the supplies and leave." "Okay, then go to my house first. Luo Xiao will also come with me now. He and his aunt are left in the direct line of the Chen family. If it wasn't for the aunt who was sent to Giwan Pavilion early in the morning, their direct line would have been taken by the side. Take Nestle. Now it seems that at that time, the parents saw that the direct line was getting weaker and weaker, and it was a wise move to spend a lot of money to send the aunt to Giwan Pavilion, otherwise there would be no place for him and his aunt in the Chen family now. Feichuan City is bigger than Biya City. It took a lot of time to fly from the city gate to Chen's house. The city is also more prosperous and lively. There were only 2 cultivators, and there were more than 2 cultivators flying past their aircraft. In the distance, I saw a very large mansion, which was where the Chen family was. It was getting closer and closer to the Chen residence, but the smile on Chen Sheng's face was restrained, because there was a group of people waiting at the door of the Chen residence. Just looking at his face, he knew that the person who greeted him was by no means so well connected. It was most likely the family of the uncles he was talking about. Sure enough, when the aircraft parked in the huge open space in front of the mansion, after Chen Shengling flew out, a middle-aged man took the lead to greet him, and said with joy, "Sheng, you are finally back. My uncle has been waiting for you for a long time. If there is nothing wrong. If there is a delay, my uncle will definitely go to Biya City to pick you up." Chen Sheng smirked and said, "Really? My nephew has made my uncle worry. No one has been at home these years, so I don't know how the situation is at home. Don't worry, uncle has been sending people to take care of this place. Sheng, you don't have to worry at all. Come in, your aunt and younger siblings will be waiting to pick up the seal for you." "Okay, uncle, please." A dark look flashed in Chen Sheng's eyes, feeling that this uncle treats his house as his own, and assumes the attitude of a master. With this beginning, the rest of the Chen family also stepped forward to say hello to Chen Sheng, but one of the girls dawdled for a while before deciding to go forward, but Chen Sheng seemed to have not seen it, and walked into the mansion with others. The girl was so angry. Stamped behind. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 395. The girl had an air of arrogance on her face, and said angrily, "Chen Sheng is nothing. If it weren't for his aunt, without my father's cover, he would have been eaten to pieces, ungrateful little man. Damn. This woman is Chen Sheng's cousin Chen Zheng," and her husband Qi Shaoliang patted her hand to reassure her and said, "Kang Sheng may not have been very happy in a desolate place like Biya, but now he's back, there are also opportunities to get closer and closer. Hey, get close to yourself and get close to him. This kind of white-eyed wolf, I, Chen Zheng, have no interest in accompanying him." Chen Zheng clapped Qi Shaoliang's hand away in annoyance, turned around and ran away angrily. With the prestige of his aunt, don't think about it, she is also from the Chen family. Can that woman still show their face? Even in this mansion, there are actually members of their family. Everyone's surname is Chen. Why can Chen Sheng live so that they can't live? Qi Shaoliang stood there and looked at his palm with a confused expression, and then sneered. The Qi family was also one of the families that joined the double star business later. The reason for marrying Chen Zheng is nothing more than wanting to swallow the Chen family through her. At that time, they can not only replace the Chen family, but may even surpass the Zhu family, making the double star business the Qi family's double star business. If it wasn't for this purpose, how could he endure Chen Sheng's arrogant temper? But he didn't expect Chen Sheng's luck to be so good. Not only did he not delay his cultivation, but his cultivation was obviously much higher than it was 10 years ago. Even his aunt actually joined a certain company. The eyes of a cabinet alchemist entered the cabinet. If it wasn't for the fact that he couldn't get involved, the Qi family would have sent someone to get rid of the woman secretly. It's really good luck. Qi Shaoliang's eyes flashed with anger. Do you want to watch the Chen family rise again? Chen Sheng patiently treated his uncle for a while, and only felt comfortable after sending the person away. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai didn't intend to get involved in the infighting of the double star firm, so they stayed in the Chen mansion very low-key, and had no intention of going to the double star firm's headquarters. Chen Sheng asked someone to fetch a list of the goods of the double star firm and sent it to the two of them. He also knew that if they were to expose the two of them to the eyes of others, they might anger them and be detrimental to them. It is fine now. The two were very interested in this list, so Chen Sheng was busy with his own business first. After Chen Sheng left, Gu Yao was in a good mood while holding the list. He said it was a list, but it was actually a thick book. In addition to text descriptions, each item was accompanied by very realistic images. Shuangxing firm is really rich, so many good things, I want everything. I think the spirit stone on our body will be useless. Gu Yao sighed with emotion. Su Chen sneered, it's just a businessman in a third-rate city, which makes you dazzled. It's too rare and weird. Don't leave my name in the future, I'm ashamed. Gu Yao laughed directly. Of course there is no need for seniors to pay attention to this. I will definitely not mention it, otherwise I don't know how many enemies will be attracted. He still muttered in his heart, seniors are too lack of self-knowledge. Su Chen was so angry that a smile flashed in Qi Changjai's eyes, and he said to Gu Yao, it doesn't matter, you can earn more after you run out of spirit stones. That being said, Gu Yao is still quite frugal this time. No matter how many things are good, they should still be practical. Therefore, he mostly chooses the spirit grass for refining the 5th grade pill, plus some talisman materials. Picking up, he said, if you have the opportunity to go to Biwangchinj to have a look, the resources of spirit grass there must be more abundant. If you want to exchange alchemy techniques in the barren state, it is estimated that you will get there. I want to go to Lingzhou, but I don't know when I will wait. Right now, Giwan Pavilion in Biwangchinj is the easiest place to go. Well, I'll go with you. The price of the 5th grade spirit grass is not low, so although Gu Yao is frugal, he still sprinkles a lot of spirit stones on the basis of the original deducted spirit stones, and then gets all the selected items and sends them together with these items. Yes, there is also the most complete map Chen Sheng can get. The business scope of the double star firm is limited to the barren state, and even a city like Biwangchinj cannot enter, let alone go out of the barren state. Will only be annexed by other firms. Therefore, in the map Chen Sheng brought, the terrain of the barren states is very clearly marked, but outside the barren states, the farther away, the less clear it is. Most of the nearby areas are also pieced together from other forces. Compared to those, the strength of the double star firm is still very shallow. However, this map is very useful for the current Gu Yao and Qi Changjai. From the map, the deserted state is located at the northernmost end and is far away from the center of the spiritual world. It is no wonder that Su Chen even came to the spiritual world at first. Nowhere is clear. Thank you very much. Gu Yao is very satisfied. This map alone is worth a lot of spirit stones. Are you going to leave now? Chen Sheng was a little reluctant. It was rare to meet friends who could talk to each other, and there was no conflict of interest. There was no need to be afraid of it, but they were leaving again in a blink of an eye. He knew that, unlike Luo Xiao, he couldn't win over these two, so his attitude towards them was different from the very beginning. Qi Changjai said lightly, I will stay in Feichuan City for a while. Since we are here, of course, we will not miss the scenery here. If there is anything, we will contact each other, but the strength of the two of us is limited. He and Guyao can't get involved in the dispute between the double star firms, unless they have the strength to refine the virtual. Guyao agreed, yes, we will take a good look in the city. Isn't your aunt now in the Giyun Pavilion cabinet? As long as you are not a person who is striving for instant success, you can see that relying on your aunt, double star business, it has a better future, and in this case, you must ensure your safety. Now Chen Sheng's aunt is his biggest trump card and backer, unless double star firm doesn't want to expand and develop. I know, when I go to Biwangqing in the future, I'll introduce my aunt to you. The aunt's affairs really relieve Chen Sheng a lot. Okay, take care. We won't say goodbye to Captain Luo. Guyao and Qi Changjai simply said goodbye and left. They left the Chen mansion and came to a crowded place. A few dodged away and got rid of the people behind them. This was one of the reasons why they were unwilling to stay in the Chen mansion. After a few days, there were several strands of spiritual consciousness who looked at them as if they had nothing to do with them, and some people came to check their words. The people who got rid of the stalkers and the two completely stayed away from the area where the Chen mansion was located. Feichuan City is very large, and there are hundreds of millions of monks. It is not easy to find them, and double star business is not in Feichuan City. A dominant force, there are still many places they can't intervene. The two rented a temporary cave house in a place rich in spiritual energy. Guyao first practiced pills happily. He had accumulated so many spirit grasses on his body, but because of various scruples, he could not let go of refining. Frustrated, it's all right now. Qi Changjai smiled secretly and shook his head, sometimes thinking in his heart that if Xiaoao had to choose between alchemy and him, he doubted whether he could compete with the alchemy furnace in front of Xiaoao. Then he felt that his idea was absurd, because Guyao never asked him what he would choose between swordsmanship and him. These two people don't care about things outside the window, they only focus on their own alchemy and swordsmanship, but they don't know that others still care about them. Chibo. Seeing his son frowning, Qi's father asked, "What's the matter? Chen Zheng made trouble with you again?" Thinking of the Chen family's situation, Qi's father regretted marrying Chen Zheng for his son. He knew that Chen Sheng's aunt had such good fortune. Maybe the people of the Qi family should have made up their minds on this woman, so that now this woman can also become the Qi family. Backstage. No, Qi Shaoyang shook his head. He didn't have time to talk to Chen Zheng for the past few days. She also went back to her parents' home in a fit of anger, leaving Qi Shaoyang to live. The side is quite quiet. The two monks who came back with Chen Sheng disappeared after leaving the Chen residence, and the people I sent also lost them. Are the two monks from Biya City? What are the people from that place worth paying attention to? Father Qi asked inexplicably. He can't look down on places like Biya-cheng. What kind of monks can they find in that place? Hearing that Chen Sheng also brought back a few body trainers, Qi's father scoffed at this. After staying there for 10 years, his eyelids have become shallow, but this is beneficial to Qi's family. Father, Qi Shaoyang explained, those two should be the masters of the spirit essence Gu, and they are not local monks in Biya-cheng, but they also came from outside. It is said that they saved Chen Sheng's life from the claws of the vampire bat. The two are not easy. Father Qi is still puzzled. No matter how simple it is it still two spiritual monks? Spirit Essence Gu has now been acquired by Double Star Business. He has seen that thing. Although it can help Double Star Business to obtain huge profits, it is not of great use to high-level cultivators, because... Qi Shaoyang sighed and said, Dad thinks that they can come up with a way to cultivate Spirit Essence Gu by accident? Don't they have other good things on them? I have heard a lot of rumors about the son of the Gu technique. For our use. How nice. This. Father Qi didn't think much of it at first, but now, After being reminded by his son, he thought of a lot of things. The Gu technique is really mysterious, and it can even control a person without a trace, so that outsiders don't notice it. It would be great if Chen Sheng could be controlled and used for them. Seeing his father's increasingly excited expression, Qi Shaoyang shook his head secretly. His father was too happy. Maybe the two of them only knew the same Lingyu and Guy. But the two of them were too vigilant, and they actually got rid of the people he and Chen Zheng's father sent. It must be known that the people sent are higher than them, and they thought they were foolproof, but they missed it. This is called Qi Shaoyang. How to be happy. Continue to send people to look for it. I don't believe that there are people in Feichuan City who we can't find in our Qi family, Qi's father said fiercely. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 396. When Guyao came out of his immersion in alchemy, another half a year later, he found that he was the only one in the cave. He patted his head and remembered, Qi Changjai said during his alchemy interval, he went out of the city to hunt wild beasts, and he even let the cubs with him, but turned around and forgot about it. After pinching the dust removal technique, Guyao flicked his sleeves and walked out of the temporary cave. He decided to go to the restaurant to pack some food and use it together when he came back in the long night. Su Chen in the space sneered, "Aren't you worried about Qi Changjai's safety?" Guyao frowned, "Big brother yet is measured and won't put himself in an extremely dangerous situation. Besides, Senior forgot that the cub is still with Big brother yet, it is really dangerous, I can feel it immediately, then he came to him anyway." Su Chen patted his mouth in the space, looking for nothing. Guyao thought about it again and said, "But the senior said it makes sense. Next time I go out with Big brother yet. By the way, I remember that there is a kind of gu called Tongxing gu in the gu technique. Before the conditions were not enough, now I think I can collect materials. Once they are cultivated, they will be made into a pair of concentric bells, so that they can perceive each other's situation at the first time." Well, everything has been said by this kid, what else can he say? Guyao excitedly ran to the restaurant and asked the man to pack a good table seat to take away. While waiting, he sat in the corner of the hall, ordered some refreshments and waited. There are many people in the restaurant, and most of them are renting temporary caves here. The caves here are not cheap because of the strong spiritual energy. Generally, renting is used for retreat and cultivation. You can also adjust your mood, and by the way, let's hear if there is anything new in Feichuan City recently. Do you know the double star business in our city? Hearing the double star firm, Guyao also looked at the speaker in surprise. It was a thin middle-aged cultivator who looked quite shrewd, but within half a year, what big event could happen to the double star firm? I know, the business of the double star firm is all over our barren state, can you not know? Could it be that something happened to the double star firm? The reason why he said it again is that the Chen family and his wife both fell many years ago, which attracted many cultivators to discuss. Tisk, the double star business has been very lively recently. First, Chen Chan from the Chen family entered the cabinet of Giwen Pavilion, which attracted the envy of many cultivators half a year ago. That is Giwen Pavilion, with Giwen Pavilion as its backing. Who else can bully the Chen family of double star business? I've heard about this. After all, it's Giwen Pavilion. It's hard to avoid hearing it. Fellow Daoist Chen Chan is really good. No, but this is a good thing. It often appears in pairs. Chen Chan entered the cabinet of Giwen Pavilion. This young master of Qi family was also favored by the elders of Tianyang sect, and he was admitted to the inner door. You said this. Did the good things go to the double star business? Even if it is even with other forces. There were a lot of discussions in his ears, and Guyao felt that he had nothing to say. Before Chen Sheng's aunt was able to enter the Giwen Pavilion cabinet, he was happy for Chen Sheng, and felt that as long as he stayed in Feichuan City, he could almost sit back and relax. How do you know that you will be slapped in the face when you turn around? He remembered that Chen Sheng's cousin was married to someone from the Qi family. It was impossible for the Qi family to have no wolf ambitions. The interests were touching, and everyone wanted to go to the top. The Chen family was weak and weak. Naturally, it has become the fat that everyone wants to eat. This time, there may be a tug of war in the double star firm. Half of them are going to Giwen Pavilion and half are going to Tianyang section. The situation that Chen Sheng has just changed has turned bad again. Luo Xiao and the three who came out of Biya City with him. The situation will not be good. Senior, the food and drinks you want are ready. The man held Gu Yao's storage bag in both hands. Gu Yao glanced at it. The food and wine were all packed in the food box. He put down the spirit stone and turned around and walked out. Chibo. The Qi family and Qi Shaoyang are very different from half a year ago. Now they are full of spring breeze. Who would have thought that the meeting will take a turn and the Qi family's spirit will change? The hidden body of the sun, he was about to be brought back to the sect to be accepted as a disciple. You must know that the ancestor of the Tianyang sect who founded the sect was the body of Tianyang, and the Tianyangzong was named after it. Qi's father said proudly, "Your brother has achieved great luck this time, and our Qi family will no longer have to look at other people's faces and act in the future. In the future, your brother will be our family's best backing." Can I still point fingers at my Qi family? In addition to being happy, Qi Shaoyang was also a little jealous. Why did the hidden experience of Tianyang appear in his younger brother instead of him? If he has such a physique, if the most beautiful person in the Qi family and Feichuan City will be him, Qi Shaoyang now, thinking that I will be shorter in front of my younger brother in the future, the joy in my heart is a little more shadowy. But this does not prevent him from grasping the power of the double star business, and further developing the double star business. Will the younger brother him at that time? Father, you are right, this is my younger brother, and it is also the great creation of our Qi family. My younger brother sent a letter back and said that Chen Chan has no background in Giwen Pavilion. Cheated. Qi's father snorted and said, "That's because we didn't know the Taoism in Giwen Pavilion before. If your brother didn't enter the Tianyang sect, then we have to respect his aunt and nephew Chen Sheng a little bit, but now it's different, we'll deal with it. It's not a disciple of Giwen Pavilion, but a boy of the Chen family, and Giwen Pavilion can't interfere in the affairs of Shuangxin Trading Company. Don't worry, when I got the news of your brother, I sent the boy Chen Sheng to the neighboring city to collect the bills, and ordered people to start halfway. Why is this situation changing so fast, haha." Only then did Qi Shaoyang understand why Chen Zhengui was sent out. It turned out to be arranged by his father. After Chen Sheng left, the news of his younger brother spread. Father is wise, son admires. Haha, our father and son are of the same mind, and their profits will break the gold. Chen Sheng lost power, and the Chen family should be happy, but they are not in a good mood at the moment. Chen Zheng's father's eyes were gloomy, but Chen Zheng was very happy. With the support of Qi's family, if Chen Sheng dared to show her face, then she must move in Chen's house. Father Chen said angrily, "Stupid. Why don't you hurry back to Qi's house and coax your husband?" "Dad, what are you worried about? If the Qi family wants to take power in the double star business, doesn't it depend on our Chen family? With the Chen family here, Qi Shaoyang dares to treat me badly. I don't want to go back and see their faces." Yuedao, want her to coax Qi Shaoyang? Dream. It was always Qi Shaoyang who came to coax her. Father Chen was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. At this time, he hoped that Chen Sheng's aunt and nephew would be more aggressive and support the Chen family. Don't fall down, otherwise the entire Chen family would not exist, whether it was a direct line or a collateral line. Damn, After Chen Sheng went out of the city to collect the bills, the news of the Qi family came out. He was worried that the Qi family had received the news early and didn't reveal it, so he would use this opportunity to get Chen Sheng out of the city first. The place where Gu Yao is staying is too far from the double star business, and the news will be delayed a little bit, so I don't know that Chen Shengren is not in Feichuan City at the moment. After he came back, Gu Yao thought about the Tongxinggu, looked through the materials in the space to see what materials he was lacking, made a list and prepared to buy everything, but when he was doing things, he was always a little uneasy. Did you hear it? What happened to the double star firm affected him. Even if Chen Sheng is in danger, how can he and Qi Changjai help? You must know that there are cultivators around Shuangxing firm and Chen Sheng. If they can't save Chen Sheng's life, what can he and Qi Changjai do? Besides, if you can save a lifetime, you can't save a lifetime. In fact, if it is really dangerous, if you want him to say that Chen Sheng might as well put down his ancestral property and go to Biwangqinj to join his aunt, there may not be a day when he will rise again in the future. Here, we can have firewood. Thinking about whether there are some or not, suddenly there is a sense of anxiety in the contract imprint with the cub, and Gu Yao will grab his hand if he misses it. What happened over there? At this moment, Qi Changjai's message came in. Gu Yao just glanced at it and put away everything, turned and rushed out. What's wrong? Su Chen noticed his movements, and it was rare to see Gu Yao's panicked side. Something happened, Gu Yao explained while flying. Big brother Ye actually bumped into Chen Sheng when he was out hunting, so the trouble can't be avoided. Gu Yao thought that as long as they didn't join in, the infighting of the double star trading company would not spread to them. What's going on? Su Chen missed what the monks in the restaurant had discussed before. Gu Yao hurriedly explained the current situation of Shuangxin Trading Company. He never imagined that Chen Sheng would not be in the city at this moment, but when he was out of the city, someone would attack him. Chen Sheng, who was chased by people, died overnight. My brother has also been recognized, and now Feichuan City will definitely not be able to return, so I have to rush over to meet them. Don't panic, calm down. Now they are telling you that it's more convenient for you to do things at this time. Su Chen no longer contradicted Gu Yao. Gu Yao calmed down a little, but couldn't help worrying. What if the other party has a cultivator? Su Chen was silent for a moment before saying, don't worry, it's just a cultivator of the virtual world, I really met, but at that time I can't guarantee that I will not be exposed. Maybe someone will come to the barren state to find my whereabouts. So if you don't have any worries about your life, I will try not to do anything. Gu Yao's heart thumped. He hadn't considered the situation, and he knew that although he couldn't be located on him, he could guarantee that he wouldn't reveal anything. He nodded and said, I see, thank you senior. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 397. Gu Yao adjusted his appearance and hurried to the city gate as fast as possible. As for the temporary cave dwelling that had paid a full year's rent, he could only put it aside first. He didn't know, not long after he left, several cultivators came to look for people. Qi Shaoyang not only did not let go of the Gu technique after his younger brother entered the Tianyang sect, but he became more interested, and used this shareholder style to search for people. The scope of the Qi family expanded, and other forces turned a blind eye to the matter when they learned of the Qi family's situation. The visitor brought the images of Qi Changjai and Gu Yao. Because they searched all the way, some people said that they had seen these two people here, so they found this place for renting and selling a temporary cave. The responsible steward remembered when he saw the images of the two of them. There were indeed two of his tenants, so he took them to the rented Dongfu to inquire, only to find that the people went to Dongkong, and he could not know about the two at present. Whether to go out temporarily or leave without saying goodbye. Qi Shaoyang was very unhappy when he learned of this situation, and the place was all found, but the person disappeared. while ordering people to continue to stare at the cave, while asking people to keep an eye on the cultivator at the gate of the city. At this moment, Guyao, with an unfamiliar face, swaggered out of the city. After leaving the city, Guyao looked back and saw that the inspection at the gate of the city was obviously much stricter. It seems that after the Qi family's children entered the Tianyang sect, the impact on Feichuan City was not small. The guards listened to them. This thought flashed through his mind quickly and he threw it aside. It was important to rush to Qi Changjai's place first. Fortunately, Kubze was placed by Qi Changjai's side, so he just had to follow the direction of Kubze to find it. In the layers of mountains, Qi Changjai took Chen Sheng and several others to flee to the remote mountains. This approach is extremely risky, and they will be attacked by the enemy, with chasing troops behind, and powerful wild beasts in front. Avoiding a desolate beast at the level of refining, the cub stomped on Qi Changjai's head angrily. It rarely dared to do such a move before. Chen Sheng was seriously injured, and his face turned pale. The three Luo Xiao who escaped with him were also seriously injured. If it hadn't been fortunate to meet Qi Changjai, they would have died at the hands of those behind. Qi Changjai found a hidden place to set up a hidden formation. Everyone adjusted their breaths first, and then looked at Chen Sheng, in a bad mood. I didn't have time to ask before, what happened? Your aunt still can't protect you. Chen Sheng's face turned pale again, and this time he was even more embarrassed than when he was chased by vampire bats last time. Not only was he robbed on the way, but his own people also betrayed him. It's the Qi family. I heard them shout a few words. It seems that there is someone in the Qi family. Entered the Tianyang section. Qi Changjai frowned. Tianyang sect and Giwen Pavilion can't say who has a higher status, but, just by entering Tianyang sect, let the Qi family make up their minds to get rid of you. I'm not afraid to provoke Tianyang after Giwen Pavilion. Can Zone protect them? Chen Sheng is not stupid. This time those people really wanted to kill him, guessing, the other party's position in the Tianyang sect should not be low, and they won't worry about my aunt's attack on them. Daiochi, this time I'm causing you trouble again. I don't know about the ancient alchemist. Qi Changjai was in a bad mood. Xiaoao just wanted to come here. The cub is his pet beast, so we can't stay here for a long time. Xiaoao rushing in is dangerous. He can't let Guyao run into this deep mountain at the risk of being discovered by a wild beast. Even if he said to let Guyao wait outside, can Guyao not worry when he is outside? The longer the time dragged on, the less he could feel at ease, so he had to find a way to get out. Seeing what Chen Sheng wanted to say, Qi Changjai interrupted him. Rehabilitate your injury first, and restore your strength as soon as possible. I'll think of a way. Okay. The world is capricious. How can I think that the young master who is aloof will fall into such a situation in a blink of an eye? Qi Changjai also fed the elixir to the cub. He didn't have time to comfort him in a good voice. He only told him that in order to leave here safely and join Guyao as soon as possible, he must first understand the terrain here, the distribution of wild beasts and the enemy's trace. The cub grinned at his teeth, and slapped Qi Changjai's head with his claws, completely messing up his hair, but there was a cooing laugh in his throat, and when Qi Changjai's cold eyes swept over, he quickly disappeared like a puff of smoke gone, when the hard laborers go to work. Be careful, the wind sent Qi Changjai's voice transmission. Zai Zai was moved, and knew that he cared about him, so he spat at himself, so indifferent, he hummed back with an arrogant sound. It was dead. It turned out that the disciples of the Qi family were accepted as disciples by the elders of the Tianyang sect and entered the inner sect directly. Therefore, Giwen Pavilion will meet the elders of the Tianyang sect for a disciple who has just entered the cabinet. In the past, Qi family and Zhuangxing firm did not dare to offend Giwen Pavilion, but if Tianyang sect was the backer, Giwen Pavilion would not be so important, or a small cabinet disciple of Giwen Pavilion would not be so important. Qi Changjai was single-minded, thinking about how to get out while recovering his strength. If he and Guyao had not been exposed in the eyes of Qi's family, he would have wanted to leave Chen Sheng and the others alone, but now he knew that he and Guyao had already been with Chen Sheng was tied together, so not only had to think about how to get rid of the pursuers behind, but also what to do after getting rid of them. The best way is to go to Biwang City, where Giwan Pavilion is located. No matter how powerful the Qi family is, they can't put their claws into Biwang City. It will be Chen Sheng's best shelter, but as long as they can think of it, the other party will also. As you can imagine, I'm afraid that people have been arranged to guard the only way to Biwang Chinjurli, waiting for them to throw themselves into the net. Zai Zai will come back after going out to investigate for a while, and tell Qi Changjai what he has found. He is very careful. Now he only has the power of God transformation. As soon as he sensed the terrifying aura, he withdrew as soon as possible. The other wild beasts walked on the territory, and even the pursuers behind them observed it from a distance. Qi Changjai drew a map of what the cub found. After several times, the map drawn became more and more detailed. At this time, Chen Sheng and several others also finished adjusting their breaths and looked over. This map of the terrain and the distribution of wild beasts is called They Were Startled. They didn't expect a black cat to have such ability. No, Chen Sheng had already recognized the black cat when he returned to its original form to help fight together. It was a black nightmare. He had only seen relevant records in the classics, but it was the first time he saw the deity. Although ashamed to involve Qi Changjai, Chen Sheng took the initiative to ask, "Friend Qi, do you have a plan? This is not the time to feel guilty, but to find a way to get out of it first, and then you will have a chance to make up for it if you survive." "Yes, I discussed it with Xiaoao, but this plan can't be implemented until Xiaoao arrives." Qi Changjai kept in touch with Gaiao while drawing. This method can be said to be discussed together by the two, and Guyao provided the most important method. What is the solution? What do we need to do? Dao Qi can arrange it. Qi Changjai is now in a much more relaxed mood. He pointed to the several dens of wild beasts drawn on the map and said, "It is to use them to deal with the pursuers behind. The wild beasts have weaknesses, and this is what we are using." Xiaoao arrives and arranges it again, and these wild beasts will take the initiative to surround them. Chen Sheng has also been on his own in Biacheng these years, and immediately guessed what Qi Changjai and Guyao were going to do, and the executor of this plan should be the Black Nightmare Beast. But does Gu Alchemist really have those things? Can you attract all the wild beasts of the refining level? But now all he can do is wait. It really can't be done. He can only drag the enemy behind him. Please Qi Changjai bring his news to his aunt, and ask her to avenge him in the future. Guyao rushed to the mountain range where Qi Changjai was currently hiding at the fastest speed. The aura of the wild beasts from inside was astonishing. Normally, he would not have been able to take the initiative to run in, but now he had to do it. Not long after entering the mountain, a dark shadow came. Guyao didn't dodge, and the cub rushed into his arms in a blink of an eye, meowing, complaining to him about how bad Qi Changjai was, trying to make him do things, and saying that Qi, no matter how bad Changye was, he was desperately protecting him all the way, making Guyao, who was so nervous, couldn't help but laugh when he heard it. "Okay, I'll make up for the cub after I leave here. It's important to do things first." As soon as Guyao said, the cub immediately settled down and watched Guyao take out one thing after another from the space. It has been a long time since they came to the barren state. They have been dealing with barren beasts in Biya City. Naturally, they need to understand barren beasts' preferences and weaknesses, so Guyao is equipped with a lot of things for barren beasts. These things enough to create a chaos for the pursuers. Guyao explained the use of these things to the cubs. The most important thing is that the cubs don't get on them, and then let him go. He also carefully followed behind. That map, Qi Changjai also copied a copy to let him go. The cub brought it to Guyao, and circled the route on the map where they could meet. Zizé ran back and ran behind the cultivators who didn't let go, with two cat eyes staring pitifully. What's the matter? Let everything else go first. It's important to find people out, and never let them escape. This was the death order given to them by Chi's father. Unexpectedly, there were a lot of good things on the kid, and they let them accidentally let the kid escape. But even if there are helpers, with a few spirit transformation cultivators and body cultivators who are holding back their legs, can they escape the eyes and ears of the virtual cultivators? It's like being stared at by something. I didn't say that the alien beast beside Jiangxiu is really a black nightmare beast. I always feel that the black nightmare beast is troublesome. Heh, if it has the strength to refine the emptiness, then we will run away as soon as possible, but whoever makes it unlucky, will transform into a spiritual realm, and if we meet it, it will be planted, and who will call it such a weak master, if it can leaves the original owner and goes with us, and I don't mind taking it. The black nightmare beast itself made him covet and covet, not to mention that its ability is extremely special. It can restrain many monks and monsters, and the black flames under his feet also made him greedy. If he can peel off the black flames, how good is it to come out and conquer? Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 398. These monks have spirit beasts who are good at tracking, but Chi Changjai has a strange potion that Gu Yao helped him to equip. The fox-like spirit beast let out a thin and sharp cry, and the spirit beast's owner happily said, "I found it. This time, if they are caught, they must be tortured severely. Don't worry, if anyone finds one, they won't let it go." Is there any other force in Feichuan City that can compare to the Qi family? It's that Miss Chen Chen. It's not bad to save her life, and she still stays honest. In the case of Biwangchenj, when young Master Qi goes further, even Giwan Pavilion may not be able to keep her. The Chen family is completely over this time. Suddenly, the stalking spirit beast made a sharper cry, stabbing people's heads into dizziness. The spirit beast's owner looked around vigilantly. They found that several wild beasts were rushing towards them. It's no big deal, a few wild beasts rushed over in a panic, just go and get rid of them personally, but they are just a few wild beasts with poor strength. It didn't take long for those wild beasts to rush in front of them, but the next development was beyond their expectations. Before they could take action, the few wild beasts blew themselves up and died, causing them to be caught off guard. Blood splashed on them, making them very unhappy. But at this moment, the tracking spirit beast did not follow the whereabouts of Chen Sheng and his party, but was attracted by the broken corpses and blood on the ground, and licked it excitedly, with a posture that he could not go without licking the blood. "What's the matter? Come back." The echo that the owner of the spirit beast got was that the broken corpse and the water had a taste it liked very much, but the cultivator who led the team reprimanded impatiently, "The evil beast is the evil beast, and the relationship is always broken." But the owner of the spirit beast groaned in his heart. It was so strange that the wild beast suddenly burst out and died, and the spirit beast behaved strangely. "No, this is man-made, someone designed it for us, my spirit beast likes it." Then other wild beasts, "Not good, let's go, comma. What smell? Where is the strange smell coming from? It smells bad. That's the potion that some monks use to trap wild beasts. Hurry up, the wild beasts are coming." Several more wild beasts rushed over, and they also blew themselves to death. They exploded into a mass of flesh and blood fragments, and the smell was even stronger. At this time, the ground under their feet was rumbling and trembling, and there was the sound of birds flapping their wings in the sky. "Come on." "No, we're surrounded." On a tree far away, the black cat slumped on the tree from exhaustion. His limbs were wide open. The cat was exhausted. Is it easy for him? He wants to control those wild beasts with little intelligence to swallow the medicinal pills brought from the master. The taste tempts him to swallow it all, but when he thinks of the task given by the master, he is still trying to overcome this temptation, and then he also controlled these wild beasts to rush towards the enemy in batches, and then made them self-destruct. The wild beasts in the mountains have already rioted, and Chi-Chang-Ai knew that his and Guyao's plan had been successful, and the cubs contributed greatly. Put away the formation and say, "Let's go." Chen Sheng and the others followed Chi-Chang-Ai without hesitation, escaping along the established route. It's not that Chen Sheng is not curious. What kind of medicine can achieve such an effect, causing a large number of wild beasts to riot in the vicinity, and the center of the riot is the situation of the hunter, which will be very wonderful. Needless to say, these medicines are inseparable from Guyao. Obviously, this is an alchemist, but he does not seem to be outstanding in alchemy. Instead, he likes to take the sword and study some strange things. There are other alchemists who have studied the poison that has meritorious deeds among beasts, but they cannot distinguish the composition of the poison at all, and it is not easy to detoxify it in a targeted manner. Because they avoided the center of the riot, even if they encountered other wild beasts on the way, they did not bring too much harm to Chi-Chang-Ai and others. During their escape, Luo Xiao and the others became more and more worshipful to Chi-Chang-Ai. Although Chi-Chang-Ai was in the middle stage of God transformation, the wild beasts in the later stage of God transformation were not his opponents. The wild beasts who had become God transformation could also be contained until they escaped. Afterwards, Chi-Chang-Ai could leave alone to join them. Guyao finally met Chi-Chang-Ai holding the tired and paralyzed cub. The roar of the wild beast at the center of the riot became louder and louder. Chi-Chang-Ai grabbed Guyao's hand and had no time to talk, so he picked a direction and continued non-stop. Run away and get out of Feichuan City's sphere of influence as soon as possible. On the way, Guyao also helped them deal with their body problems. Chen Sheng and the three had something on their bodies, which penetrated into the body through the skin, and was colorless and odorless. This is the reason why they have been unable to get rid of the trackers. Chen Sheng didn't expect it at all. Needless to say, it was the hands of the people around him that didn't cause him to be alert. No wonder he changed his clothes and cleaned it several times with the dust removal technique, but he couldn't get rid of the tracking. That spirit beast, but for their troublesome matter, it was in Guyao's hands, and it was solved with a simple handling. Feichuan City. Father Qi and Qi Shaoliang had been waiting for news from their subordinates, but in the end, only one of the more than 10 monks came back, and he was seriously injured and embarrassed, while the others died under the claws of the wild beasts. Qi's father was furious. How is this possible? Is there anyone else helping the Chen family's child? Father is calm and restless. Let's hear what's going on first. Qi Shaoliang suppressed the disappointment and anger in his heart, and persuaded his father, thinking that the foolproof action. Who would have expected such a result? How could he not be disappointed? But he also knows that these monks who follow the Qi family cannot be separated from the Qi family. Now is the time when the Qi family needs to employ people. There is a backer, but the manpower cannot be recruited in a short time. The cultivator who escaped was very aggrieved. Send an alchemist to check and we should be able to find out. They have something in their hands that can cause wild beasts to riot. We were surrounded by more than a dozen wild beasts of the refining level. Already. The Qi family immediately sent people to the scene to investigate. There were still wild beasts lingering in the riot center in the mountains, but this time, they were well prepared. After driving the wild beasts away, they checked the soil and the remaining blood stains, and they did gain something. It's an improved potion that can cause wild beasts to riot. There is also an elixir. This elixir is not only very attractive to wild beasts, but also to monster beasts, and even. The inspecting alchemist hesitated. Even what? Qi Shaoliang followed in person. It may even be the best pill that would cause such a big movement. How is this possible? Did Chen Sheng get it outside? Then he came back this time to hide this matter. Qi Shaoliang first suspected Chen Sheng's motives. No matter where Haipan Dan came from, the Qi family felt disgraceful. On the one hand, they continued to send people to hunt down the two monks, Chen Sheng and Guyao Qi Changjai. On the other hand, they made a lot of accusations against Chen Sheng and issued a reward order to him. Whenever someone comes to see Chen Sheng's head, he will be rewarded with 100 top-quality spirit stones, and the heads of Guyao and Qi Changjai will be rewarded with 10 top-grade spirit stones. In Feichuan City, bounty orders can be seen everywhere, especially at the gate of the city. The images of the three people are very clear, causing many monks to discuss and search out of the city. Even if it is only 10 top-quality spirit stones, it is also a huge wealth for ordinary monks. In several cities adjacent to Feichuan City, a reward order was also posted at the gate of the city. In Feichuan City's city lord's mansion, the atmosphere was not so pleasant. Unlike Biya City, the situation in Feichuan City is much more complicated, and it is not the city lord's word. Besides, now that the Sheng family has the support of Tianyang sect, they don't even care about the city lord. City lord, someone from the Qi family has come again and wants the city lord to issue the city lord's order. Let the Qi family go back. I'll turn a blind eye to what they do below, but the Chen family has no grudges and no grudges against me. Why should I go to this murky water? Humph, the Qi family better look forward to it. Their son will be in his early days and live a long life, but Chen Chen will not be able to climb up in his life. No one can predict what will happen in decades and hundreds of years. Just like when the Chen family was still alive, would they think that the Chen family would lose so quickly one day? This time, Chen Sheng was also allowed to escape. If he was given a chance, the situation would only reverse faster. The city lord's subordinates also fought for the city lord. Once the Qi family was successful, they became arrogant. Without any cover, he just, "Yes, city lord, I'll tell them to go back." The Qi family was annoyed that they didn't get the city lord's order for Chen Sheng and several others, thinking that one day the city lord would look good. Although they can't get the city master order, they can still issue bounty orders in other cities, and the wealth is touching, so the large sum of spirit stones can definitely impress the hearts of many monks, so that they can be used by the Qi family. As for the affiliates of the Chen family, they were all banned in the Qi family circle. No matter how much Ren Chenzheng, the young lady of the Qi family, shouted, she could not get a response from Qi Shaoliang, and her wife's position was also very fast. Will be replaced by other women. The Zhu family, another powerful family of Shuangxin Trading Company, had to surrender the power in their hands and go dormant. Since then, double star trading has truly become the Qi family's world. It's just that the three people they want to offer a reward have not been able to return the news, as if they have completely disappeared in the vast wasteland. 1 year later, in a remote town, the monks who came in and out of the town saw a bounty from a year ago posted on the wall, and joked, "It's been a year, how many people still want to make this money?" Think about a year ago. There are also many people in our town who went out to search. Not only did they return without success, but some people lost their lives outside. I want to say that it is better for loose cultivators like us to not mix things up with those big forces. That's not true, but I'm also very curious about these three monks. They really stole a lot of money from the business and flew away. This is also one of the important reasons why many cultivators spontaneously join the search, and it is also under the accusation that the Qi family is responsible for Chen Sheng and the three of them Luoji. Who knows, even if people do appear, people and things will not fall into our hands, and there will be fewer daydreams. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 399. Guyao and Qi Changjai, who had changed their faces, heard other people's comments, and looked at each other helplessly. The Chi family did a really cruel thing. Not only did they offer them a high price, but they also spoke out, saying that Chen Sheng took away a lot of money from double-star business. Wealth did not attract many monks to send out one after another, trying to make a fortune from them. After escaping from the boundary of Feichuan City, they could only avoid the big city, go to remote and dangerous places, and occasionally stop for a while in the market town they passed by in exchange for some supplies. In this way, in order to avoid attracting attention, they not only it was easy to make things easier, and they also acted separately, and they have not aroused suspicion from others to this day. Let's go, people are already in the town. I don't know if there is anything special about this town. Chi Changjai took Gu Yao's shoulders and took him to the town. On the way, he received a message from Chen Sheng that he had already arrived. Gave them the address to meet. On the surface, the large city is in good order. Although the various forces fight back and forth in private, if there is any conflict, they will usually be resolved outside the city. However, in a market town like this and other places where monks live, unless there is a powerful people are suppressed by force, otherwise this kind of mixed place is to talk with fists. It is not uncommon for people to fight with each other on the street. If they encounter a strong person, it is possible to destroy a street or even a market town. Those unfortunate enough to be involved in their deaths can only think of themselves as unlucky. Going down all the way, fighting with wild beasts, fighting with people. Gu Yao and Chi Changjai both have a little bit of slaughter, and they released it unexpectedly. No one wants to mess with them when they come to such a town, because these two people, especially Chi Changjai, are not easy characters to provoke at first glance. After finding the restaurant Chen Sheng mentioned, the two walked in and came to the private room upstairs by the window. Chen Sheng invited them to be seated. During the year of fleeing, he had more than once lamented that the most detailed map that he had painstakingly found for Gu Yao and Chi Changjai at the beginning had been fulfilled by himself. Without a clue, he might instead plunge into the trap set by the Chi family. He didn't know what the Chi family was thinking. They only offered a reward to him, Chi Changjai and Gu Yao, but not Luo Xiao and the others. Maybe it was because Luo Xiao and the others were body cultivators that they despised them from the bottom of their hearts and didn't think they could. How useful it was, it made it easier for him to act. So after escaping from the boundary of Feichuan City, Luo Xiao and the three learned the disguise taught by Gu Yao, and brought enough spirit stones to go all the way to Biwang City. Chen Sheng wanted Luo Xiao and the three to send a letter to his aunt, so that aunt would not worry about his safety and leave Giwan Pavilion and fall into the trap set by the Chi family. The safest way is to stay in Giwan Pavilion. Having said that, it is definitely dangerous to go here. If they don't want to, he can make other arrangements for them and start over without the identity of the past. The three Luo Xiao refused, and took the token and secret documents given by Chen Sheng, and set foot on the road to Biwangchange. Fighting all the way, dealing with all kinds of people, Chen Sheng's temperament has gradually changed. In the past, he couldn't let go of the property left by his parents, and he just wanted to protect it. Now looking back, it may not be a good thing to come out, as long as he is strong enough, and those industries will be handed over to him. There is good news. Chen Sheng looked a little excited. Gu Yao raised his eyebrows. What good thing could get them? Chen Shenxi said, I'll go one step ahead and inquire about one thing. The underground auction house in this town will auction an important item tomorrow night, the key to enter the secret realm of the absolute pool. We have to find a way to get this key, even if get what you grab. The secret realm of absolute pond. Gu Yao and Chi Changjai didn't know much about this secret realm. Also, apart from staying in Biya City for a period of time, they have been wandering outside. The materials and books they can read are limited. How can they be more comprehensive? Letter of understanding. Chen Sheng also thought about it. After all, these two are not natives of the spiritual world, so they have never heard of the secret realm of the absolute pond, The last time the secret realm of the Absolute Pond appeared was 500 years ago, and there has been no movement since then. I didn't expect this. Let's meet again. Every time the secret realm of the Absolute Pond is about to be born, a certain number of keys will be released, and only those keys can be used to enter the secret realm. If we were in the big city, we should have gotten the news earlier. But it's not bad now. The news has come out, and there are also keys. It will only end in a dead end. It's a pity that when I was at home, I didn't check the situation of the secret realm of the Absolute Pond. Those big forces should have more detailed information. Seeing Chen Sheng's brows dancing, Gu Yao and Qi Changjai also believed that the secret realm of the Absolute Pond should be a good place. Qi Changjai nodded and said, "Okay, let's go to the auction first. No matter what, we have to find a way to grab a key. How many people can one key bring in?" 5 people. Chen Sheng still knew the situation. "That's good, we only need one." After the 3 of them ate and drank, they still acted separately. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai found an inn to stay, checked their belongings, and ensured that they could take pictures with spirit stones tomorrow night. They must immediately become the target of public criticism, and they will fall into another larger siege. But this time, Gu Yao also understands that they have to give it a try no matter what they need most now is to work hard to improve their strength, and the secret realm happens to be the most suitable place. How to enter the underground auction was inquired by Chen Sheng, and after inquiring, he sent a message to Gu Yao and Qi Changjai. After dark the next day, Gu Yao and Qi Changjai went to an inconspicuous grocery store, took out a bag of spirit stones, and said bluntly, "We want to participate in an underground auction." "Okay, the 2 of you, please." The guy at the grocery store gave each of them a cloak to cover their faces and isolate other people's consciousness, and then took them into a closed room at the back, where there was a short-distance teleportation array, and inside it was already several people are waiting. Even with the isolation cloak, Gu Yao and Qi Changjai still recognized at a glance that Chen Sheng was among them, but the 2 did not recognize each other, and waited until they left the market town to see how the situation developed. When there are 10 people, the guy activates the teleportation array and sends them to the underground auction. The other end of the teleportation array is really deep underground, but it is impossible to find out which direction it is in, and Gu Yao's consciousness cannot penetrate the thick walls around it. The underground space is quite large, and many moon fluorites and night pearls are inlaid on the surrounding walls, illuminating the place into a misty atmosphere, full of a mysterious and depressing atmosphere. There were people waiting to receive them here, and they were led directly to the space where the auction was held. There were also dozens of monks waiting here. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai found a corner and sat down, waiting for the auction to start. It can be seen that most of the people who come here are alone and do not communicate with each other. Of course, it is not ruled out that there are situations like them and Chen Sheng, who come here together as strangers, so as to cooperate with each other in the event of an accident. Several batches of monks came one after another, and when there were more than 100 participants, the shooters' meeting finally started. A fat monk wearing a cloak walked in from the outside, with a mask on his face. Unable to see through his situation, he sat down at the round table in the middle, and first introduced himself. "I am the host of this auction. The old rule is to auction the items provided by us first, and if you have something you want to auction later, you can send it to everyone to taste it together. Long story short, let's look at the first auction item." The fat monk took out the first box from the storage ring and opened it for others to see. Gu Yao remembered what Chen Sheng said: this kind of underground auction has no credibility at all, which means that the authenticity of things can only be determined by his own eyesight. To identify, unfortunately, a fake or inferior product, cannot find the auction venue and the person inside, cannot be held accountable. Gu Yao looked into the box and saw that there were pills in the box, and when several monks saw the pills, they were breathing quickly. Someone asked in a hoarse voice, Is this Pakudan? Yes, Taoist-friendly eyesight, it is the void-breaking pill, which can increase the chance of breaking through the void refining by 20%. The void-breaking pill requires at least a 4th-grade alchemist to refine it, although there are 2 2nd-grade alchemists in this barren state, for there are not a few alchemy masters, but how many of us loose cultivators have the opportunity to get in touch with a 4th-rank alchemist, and can we ask for medicinal pills from them? Of course, as long as you enter Biwang City, you can buy the void-breaking pill with a spirit stone, but can we, the wandering wilderness cultivators, be accepted by Biwang City? Okay, that's it. The base price is 1000 high-grade spirit stones, and the price must not be lower than 100 high-grade spirit stones each time. As soon as this price came out, many people gasped. This amount is not small. If everyone is so wealthy, why should they be a loose cultivator and settle in the big city? Unknown danger. Of course, since we came to this auction, of course, we were fully prepared, and it may not be ruled out that there are stills inside, deliberately driving up the price. 1002. 1005. Guyao and Qi Changjai watched them bid, and finally they were bought by a monk for 3000 top-grade spirit stones. Next is a treasure. Compared with the real price, the price is not high, and the trend is not so strong. Qi Changjai said, these things are likely to be stolen goods, and they are not visible. Guyao wasn't very interested in this treasure, but asked curiously, when the person who took the photo used this treasure, wouldn't they be afraid of being recognized? Maybe there is some way to cover it up. Guyao was also not interested in the next few things, and he didn't hear Chen Sheng's bid, but when the fat cultivator took out another thing, Guyao's eyes lit up. Transmigration, First-Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 400. The fat cultivator pointed to the contents of the box and said, these are 2 inner elixir, which are taken from an alien beast called the lean-eyed beast. These alien beasts appear in pairs. Once they find a mate, they will accompany them until they die. Needless to say, everyone knows that some Taoist companions like to capture such strange beasts and keep them by their side, and no matter how far apart they are, they can learn about each other's situation through this strange beast. Although this is only their inner core, it is taken from a pair of even-eyed beasts and has some special uses. The auction will start now. The reserve price is 100 high-grade spirit stones, and each increase shall not be less than 10 high-grade spirit stones. In fact, it is not necessary for this kind of inner core to cultivate the concentric goo, it can also be other things, but among the materials that Guyao has come into contact with, these 2 inner cores are of the highest level, and the performance of the concentric bells produced will be even better. Okay. As soon as the fat cultivator made the offer, several cultivators laughed disapprovingly. Most of the people who came to the auction were desperados walking on the edge of the blade. How could such a person trust another person wholeheartedly and marry someone? Companions of Taoism, in their opinion, this kind of thing is nothing more than to coax the other half. The fat cultivator also knows this problem, but he is not worried that the auction will fail. It doesn't matter which city it is sent to the auction house, it won't be sold, and there is no need to worry about the source of this thing being discovered, and there will be no problem. Just as Guyao was about to make a bid, he was stopped by Qi Changjai holding his hand, and then he heard Qi Changjai's voice transmission, so Guyao simply handed over the bidding to him. Qi Changjai will have to wait longer, lest people think that they have to kill them. When the fat cultivator called 3 times and no one responded, and seemed to be preparing to put it away with regret, Qi Changjai's cold voice sounded, 110 spirit stones. The fat cultivator and many of the cultivators present were surprised. Someone remembered that this person and the cultivator beside him seemed to have come in together. Could it be a Taoist relationship? Qi Changjai only glanced at the audience lightly, without any surprises or waves, as if he was just shooting a small thing, and it was no big deal if he couldn't shoot it. The fat cultivator was overjoyed. It was an unexpected surprise to be able to shoot it here. It would take a lot of work to send it to other places, and it would also take a small profit. In the end, the spiritual stones that fell into their hands may not be more than this, after thinking about it. Made a hint in a certain direction below, no need to bid, what if others lose interest and don't want to shoot? As a result, the pair of inner alchemists finally fell into Chi Changai's hands at the price of 110 spirit stones, and he handed them over to Guyao. So some people thought they understood it, but they bought it to coax the people around, and it seems that he is also a master of spirit stones. Next, Guyao took a fancy to two kinds of spirit grass, which were also photographed by Chi Changai, and they were also handed over to Guyao. Chen Sheng couldn't help laughing, but he knew that the good things were actually in Guyao's body, and these things could only play a big role in Guyao's hands. On the way, he had seen a lot more, and the inconspicuous spirit grass he encountered on the road had arrived. Guyao can also make strange things in his hands. Once, they relied on a large bottle of powerful itching agent to escape from the hands of the two wild beasts. The angry roar of the wild beasts made him almost vomit blood. Of course, at this time, he did not forget to hold subtle sympathy for the two wild beasts. And then Chen Sheng exchanged a small bottle from Guyao and kept it in the deepest part of the storage ring. One day, he planned to use it on Chi's father and son, and let them taste the wonderful taste of life rather than death. The fat monk took out the last auction item. I don't need to say this last item, everyone has heard some rumors. Yes, this is the key to the secret realm of the Absolute Pond, and it is not an exaggeration to say that it is a priceless treasure. When the secret realm of Subjuk Pond was opened, there was a cultivator who was promoted to a whole level inside. Think about it, you rely on this key to advance from God transformation to void refinement, or void refinement to merge, and the next monk will be the winner. It will be you, and flying to the immortal realm is no longer a dream. Encouraged by the fat cultivator, the cultivator's breathing became rapid again. Chi Changai and Guyao glanced at each other and twitched the corners of their mouths. This fat cultivator is quite inspiring, but is it so simple to be bewitched? Which secret realm is not the tomb of many monks? Breath. Okay, this is the key to the secret realm of the Absolute Pond. The auction will start now. The base price is 10,000 high-grade spirit stones, and each increase must not be less than 100 spirit stones. This price quickly poured a basin of ice water on the heads of many monks. 10,000 top-grade spirit stones, that is, 10 top-grade spirit stones. How much money can these monks who are wandering outside earn? But as soon as the fat monk's voice fell, someone couldn't wait to bid, 20,000. Because this underground auction house has long been rumored, there will be a secret key to appear. Some monks are coming for this key. How can they not be fully prepared? Grab it. 25,000. 30,000. 40,000. This asking price immediately attracted the attention of many people. Guyao and Chi Changai could hear it, it was Chen Sheng's sound. 45,000, Yan gnashed his teeth. 60,000, it was Chen Sheng again, who suddenly raised the price to a new height. Immediately, a lot of hateful eyes converged on him, and some people laughed sullenly. Go out. 100,000, Chen Sheng said again. There was a whirring sound immediately below. These were the few monks who had been holding on tightly to Chen Sheng before. They had obviously reached their limit. If it weren't for this underground auction, they would have already shot at Chen Sheng. The fat cultivator was bubbling in his heart. The higher the price, the better. This was not enough. He had to add more fire, so he made a gesture to the side, which only he knew. 110,000. 150,000, Chi Changai shot. When some monks heard his voice, their hearts trembled fiercely, thinking that he was just a young master who could coax a little lover, but he didn't expect to be a master with real spiritual stones. 300,000, it was still Chi Changai's voice. The fat monk was very excited. The price was definitely beyond their estimates. If it wasn't for the mask, he could see that his face was flushed and his eyes were shining. Is there any price increase? This is the absolute pool. The key to the secret realm is the key to repair. The passage for the winner to ascend to the immortal realm, it will take another 500 years for the next time. It's a pity that no one responded this time. Fatty called 3 times in a row before confirming the buyer with a little regret in excitement. There is an interlude in the middle, but no one else saw it. That is, Guyao also made the cubs invisible, and went to Chen Sheng to smuggle a bag of spirit stones back, otherwise, they would only be able to get in and out during this time. The two of them still can't get the spirit stone together, and it is very likely that they will use other materials to offset the account, such as the best pill. Although the cloak can isolate the consciousness, since the auction results came out, the spiritual consciousness of those monks swept the two people unscrupulously, and even left the imprint of their consciousness on their cloaks. As long as the cloak does not accept, they will be found by those who leave their mark wherever they go. The fat cultivator turned a blind eye to these, and asked if he wanted to take out things for auction on the spot. Obviously, no one was in the mood to stay at this time. The fat cultivator understood the feelings of these people very well. Only the two who took the keys left as soon as possible. The cultivator who came for this key can grab it as soon as possible. The fat monk clapped his hands, and someone came to show them the way, and he still took them to a room with a teleportation array. The teleportation distance of this teleportation array is 10 kilometers, the orientation is random, 10 people at a time. Everyone please. No one took the initiative to step forward, they were all watching, or waiting for Chi Changai and Guyao to move first. Chi Changai sneered unconcealedly, stepped in with Guyao, and then swish, several figures stood beside them, besieged them in the middle, and in the blink of an eye, they gathered 10 people who were teleporting at one time. Find the location of the two. 1 moment ago, he was still underground, and the next moment he was in the pitch-black wilderness. The sky was full of dark clouds, and not even a single star could be seen, as if God wanted to facilitate this nighttime slaughter. Hand over the keys. Bang bang bang. There was a blasting sound at the same time as the sound of turning the keys, and a strange fog filled the surroundings immediately. Everyone lost their direction, and this strange fog had a limiting effect on everyone's consciousness, and it seemed that it could devour their consciousness. There are also people who immediately attacked with their own treasures, but the response from the treasures showed that the attack was in vain. Of course, some people's attacks were not in vain, but then there were screams and scolding. Which one with no eyes attacked me? Is it the helper of those two guys? Sorry, fellow deist, it was an accidental injury. Those two people moved their positions. Don't take action yet, and find a way to break the fog. I think we should work together, wait until the two guys are caught, and then grab the keys according to their abilities. Okay. The mist is poisonous, everyone hold your breath. Two treacherous guys, wait to catch them and make them look good. This fog is attributed to MOU. MOU itself can produce ghost fog, and in addition to absorbing a lot of clouds in the sea of clouds in Wanluo continent, the fog is further transformed and improved. When preparing in advance this time, Guyao let Mo Jade contributed a lot of mist concentrated liquid, and then mixed with poison to make this one-time blasting item. Although it lacked MOU's control, the effect of the fog's confusion was a little worse, but it was enough to gain time for Guyao and Chi Changai to transfer. Someone found this thunder light in the fog and came out of the fog in time. No, they escaped, hurry up. With the direction provided by this voice, everyone got rid of the entangled fog and walked out in 2s and 3s, but the thunder light in the sky had disappeared. Several cultivators sent a message to let the cultivators who were outside to cooperate with the action quickly chase in the direction that the thunder light escaped. Chen Sheng also pretended to break free from the fog. The fog had a detoxification pill prepared in advance, which had no effect on him. He followed the others and said viciously, "You two very cunning guys, you mustn't let them go." "Yes, let's go after everyone. Go." 8 rainbow lights rose from the ground together, chasing in the direction where the thunder light disappeared. These 8 people just disappeared, and several cultivators appeared here out of thin air. If anyone is here, they will find that they were also teleported here. The so-called random teleportation is just a joke, but it can be accurately located. Said to be the people of the underground auction house. One of them said, "You ran away so quickly? It seems that you have some skills and backgrounds." Everyone scattered around to look for traces nearby. Don't make a pretense. These people carry a lot of things with them. As long as they have entered the underground auction hall, they will be stained with the breath there. Even if the cloak is removed, it cannot be removed. The underground auction hall is not the first to have done a bad job. Going back, if you the token key back, the 300,000 high-grade spirit stones will be obtained for nothing, and the auction will continue next time. These people searched for several times. During this period, there were other monks who came here, and they hurried away after seeing each other. Obviously, what they could think of was also thought of by others. Yes, among the 8 people who chased them out together, someone notified their accomplices to come here and search again. In case that thunder light might be used to obscure the eyes, that person might still stay in place. More than one group of people came, and there was a conflict during the period, and it turned out that the first group of monks who appeared here could be cultivated. It was almost dawn, but there was still no discovery. The cultivator who took the lead wondered, did he really run away? Wasn't it a sloppy eye? Did anyone else find it? Senior, hide a cultivator among the 8 and chase after them, but there is no trace of the 2 of them. Hateful. This result represents 2 possibilities. One is that the other party's escape speed is too fast, and all the trackers are thrown away. It was very condescending. Obviously those 2 guys were just transforming spirits, and even Liangsu was helpless against them. Leave people to continue to watch the movement here, and the others will go back with me first. 1 day, 2 days, until a month passed, the town was dug 3 feet all around, and still nothing was found. The 2 monks who suddenly appeared in the town disappeared without a trace. Many people have given up, and some people continue to keep staff in this town and nearby areas. They will report any news as soon as they come, and pay attention to the whereabouts of other keys. You can't just focus on this one key.